Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and now after beating all the new and classic cups, we're going into the DLC cups. So let's maybe switch things up and use some different characters, just for the sake of the new courses and whatnot. Well, not new courses, but the post-release courses, I guess. Let's go with the Inkling from Splatoon, and I think Futaba colour hair works best for her. So yeah, what do we unlock? That is the one from the box art of Mario Kart DS. Although I don't think I'm going to use that. I think given I'm using the Splatoon character, I'll go back to that. Oh! Actually no, that is just a standard quad with the Splatoon colouring. Let's use the Splat Buggy, just because that's the most fitting one for this character. And yeah, let's have Mercedes wheels on this fucking Splatoon thing. And that works, I reckon. So yeah, first up is the Egg Cup. This has a repeat level and 3 new ones, so let's get straight into it. And I should point out, Egg Cup is the name of the cup that you win, and not something to put your egg in. Unfortunately. I like me a hard-boiled egg, but now I'm going pure off-topic bollocks. But yeah, I had my Splatoon tangent last part, which I should have probably waited for until I got this character. Although I am thinking whether Splatoon's the game I want to bring to the channel at some point. It's one that I've been thinking about for a little while now. Just because, like, the story mode is quite fun for what it is. I might have to play the sequel then just to decide whether I want to do the original game or jump straight into the sequel's story mode if I'm going to cover it. But I had a lot of fun with it. I was in a playthrough like a long time ago now over on Hellfire Comms, so that playthrough, it's more of a sort of live chill thing. So, you know, I'm not opposed to redoing it for FlameHisWorld. It's something I might think about. There's also a few other games I've been like on the fence thinking about. Some are down to the practicality of covering them. Like there's a couple of RPGs that I've been thinking about that could work, but then they could also be ones that, like, after a while I've run out of things to say just because the games are long and quite text heavy. And like maybe I could bluff it through something. Like, if you notice, all the RPG playthroughs we've ever had on FlameHisWorld have been Pokemon ones that I've done with the others. And that's because, like, I don't know how well I could hold something like that all the way through. Like, I worry that it would get like 10 parts in and then I'd be staring at more text boxes and I just wouldn't have anything new to bring to the table. Although, saying that, sometimes Let's Plays just come out alright. Like, I remember back in 2015, I was recording Beyond Two Souls just for the non-com channel, and a mate of mine asked me if I'd ever like do a commentary of it, and I said no, because I wouldn't have anything to say, and you know, I'd run out of things to talk about and it wouldn't be particularly interesting. And then like a week later I just thought, actually, fuck it, I can do this. And then I did it, and that's still, like, to this day, despite the audio mixing being a bit questionable, that is one of my favourite LPs that I've done as a solo comp. So, I don't know, I've kind of grown up a little bit into a never say never approach with playthroughs. Like, there's some that I think are more likely to work than others, but yeah. There's some that I'm just sort of sitting on and I might get to sometime next year, we'll see. And now for a course that I really like a lot. This is the Excitebike course, obviously, and going back on what I said when I was playing the Wario sand level. This one is a lot of fun, but this one is mostly fun because of the jumps. The jumps in this are really fucking high. Like, this one is going to be very similar in gameplay to the standard version because like it's literally just driving the other way. It's a like perfectly cylindrical course, so there's not really many twists and turns to get surprised about. So, you know, it's just an excuse to do all this hype as fuck jumping again, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, I just am. Excitebike is a game that I've never played to my recollection. I believe it's like one of them sort of short fuck around games that isn't really all that substantial. It's just like what it says on the tin, nothing more, nothing less. Which, to be fair, a lot of NES games were like that. If you think the port of Donkey Kong, you think like, you know, Balloon Fight, things like that. You know, they're very basic games, take them or leave them kind of thing. I say that about Donkey Kong. I thought for shits and giggles I would record that game, like the NES version of Donkey Kong, for FC playthroughs like a few weeks ago. And my entire long play of it, where I show off both the standard mode and the more difficult mode, the entire playthrough is about 5 minutes long. Because when you're not fucking up, which I tend to remove my fuck-ups for playthroughs these days, like, you get through it so quickly. There's only like 3 levels, and you know, they're a case of once you've identified the patterns and you know what to do, then you just get it through it, like, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm nearly at the end here. There we go. And I apologise if my voice was scratchy during that. I sort of coughed partway through that track and couldn't reach my glass of water in time, so let me do that during the load screen. Dragon Driftway, it's almost like it's some kind of Dragon Road, like in Sonic Unleashed. And I like that extra touch on the music just then. If you hear like the proper pounding sound coming in, it's amazing. But yes, this is a really cool track. There's some difficult sections, and winding around the other way around the dragon is going to be pretty fun this time, I imagine, so I should probably actually pay a little bit of attention. Whenever I say I should probably pay attention, I almost immediately just, you know, stop paying attention. So basically what I'm saying is ignore my bullshit. Which I suppose if you've watched my stuff for long enough, you kind of do instinctively already, but yeah, no. Well, I've always been a fan of this whole dragon aesthetic that is always going on. There's a few things that I think of like this. There's obviously Dragon Road, like I mentioned, from Sonic Unleashed. In terms of Sonic, again, there's also Aquarium Park, which is basically Dragon Road but underwater. That's a cool level. And it's actually very hard for me to try and think of levels outside of Sonic, because I am too far down that particular rabbit hole. Although there probably are plenty out there, like the whole dragon aesthetic is something that a lot of things use. In a way, the other thing that's kind to mind, like, that sort of plays on the Chinese Dragon Festival concept, that event from Pokemon 2000, you know, the best Pokemon film, where like they do all the Gyarados dances and stuff, like basically playing directly off the Chinese Dragon events and whatnot. I don't really know enough about what it's called to not sound like an ignoramus, so I apologise for that. But yeah, Pokemon 2000 is my favourite Pokemon film. It's my favourite film in general. Granted, I don't watch that many films. I've just never really had the patience to sit down and watch films that faithfully or anything. So consider my taste uninformed in that respect, but yeah. And I know I'm getting a lot more tangential in these later parts, but at the end of the day, this is like fucking part 9 of Mario Kart on my 3rd full Mario Kart 8 playthrough on this channel, so I'm gonna be getting a little bit more creative with the commentary, or less creative because I'm just waffling. And now for Mute City from F-Zero. You know, that series that Nintendo has completely forgotten exists outside of the occasional little Easter egg or little nod. Well, I guess you could say that that fast racing Neo game is a spiritual successor to it in a way, although it has different developers. And that's the other game that I have on my Switch right now, the remaster of that, Fast Remix, which I haven't really played much of, and I probably will do when I get some time next, because I quite enjoyed the Wii U version. The online problems aside, although I think they got patched. Can't remember. Hopefully the online's more stable than the Wii U version was at launch. That's one thing I can flat out say. But yeah, I quite like the musical remix for Mute City here. I seem to recall Big Blue getting a better one. But Mute City for me, I think my favourite version of Mute City's theme will always be the Brawl one. Because Smash Bros. Brawl had like an absolutely fantastic soundtrack. Like, you can say what you want about Brawl's combat, because like Brawl's gameplay, it's got some weird decisions for a Smash game. But the soundtrack in Brawl is probably my favourite of the Smash games. Because like, don't get me wrong, Smash 4 has some good songs. It's just a lot of them feel like, you know, not quite as fantastically over the top as Brawl's was. Like, I think the general orchestral or pseudo-orchestral direction that a lot of Brawl songs had, that's not quite as prominent. Like, you get some cool guitars and shit in Smash 4, but it's just not the same to me, at least. Okay, one more lap, and I really want to win this. I just do. It's a matter of pride at this point. But yeah, that is an F-Zero thing, that it's always had really cool music. Because there's this, like, Big Blue is my favourite F-Zero song on the whole. Like, Mute City's a second favourite to me. And there's a few others, like, some of the Firefield songs can be pretty cool. And I think it's Sand Oasis, the one that, like, I think it's Sand Ocean, I can't remember what it is, but I remember it being the same as the SA2 level. But that one's got the much calmer, chill theme, which is a little bit sort of conflicting with the, like, fast race going by, but, you know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I perfected this whole cup and I'm pretty happy with that, so yeah. Goddamn, them loading screens are starting to really drag on. But yes, there we go, there's our gold cup. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next time for another DLC cup. See you then.